Next guest on the Last Visit First podcast, live from Scottsdale, Arizona at the Phoenician Hotel, the boss, Jeanette Lynn. She's the managing director of Home Care 100. She's the reason we're here. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, you have the easiest commute.
I do. It's amazing. You should have Home Care 100 here every year. I'm a fan.
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing the sunshine while the rest of the country is hiding under ice and snow.
Many other guests have said how they're in trouble at home, but they're here sending pictures home, climbing mountains, doing all kinds of stuff. So we're very blessed. Tell me, how many years have you been doing this?
This is my fourth Home Care
Fourth
100.
year.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Or at least, fourth year. I guess we've had, now that we're doing them both in January and June, we have to start talking about the number of years we've been doing it, not the number of events.
That's true. So that's true. That's true. This is my 21st one.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You're like a
With
pro.
multiple companies. Yeah.
You've worn every hat possible,
We
I
have.
think,
I have.
in the circle of being here.
I have. We actually represent 10 companies here between the Vistria and Maxwell and all the tech companies. So we have 10 companies that are here. It's fun.
Unbelievable.
So
It's
why
phenomenal.
does everybody want to come to this conference? This is like the top conference for executives. Let's call it that.
Yeah, sure. I would say there are three things. One is the visionary intelligence. We are in a really interesting perch. So Lincoln Healthcare Leadership is the kind of company behind Home Care 100. And our goal is to really be able to look at the business sector and say, not just where are we today, but where are we going out in the future? And I think for provider operators in particular, you're running your business every single day and you need a minute to stop and think about what's next, or where is this all going? How do I carve out enough time to work on my business, because every day I work in my business? And so just that forward thinking kind of vision for where we're going is probably thing one. I think thing two is just the purposeful connections, right? So rather than coming in and saying, oh, we've got a networking reception like probably every other conference we attend during the year, we're really, really specific and strategic about putting the right people in the right venues and the right spaces to have the right conversation, right? So it's not just, I hope you walk in and have a glass of wine with somebody it's good for you, but rather let's talk about what you're trying to accomplish and what you want to learn. And we can connect you with people that are very specifically here in a perfect match or perfect potential partnership to do that. And then third, just an overall amazing experience. And so, front to back, we want to be sure that people feel that, welcoming and warm environment. And, that really rests on not just our staff team who organizes the event, but people like you who have been coming for a really long time that can look around at we call them the newbies or first-time attendees and say, welcome to Home Care. We are so excited to have new faces and new voices at the table, bringing new ideas to how we move the sector forward. And that amalgamation of just such a unique and diverse set of characters that have seats at this table is really what makes it special.
Yeah, I would add one more to that. And if you listen to the Tara Lowry podcast we did a few minutes ago, she talked a lot about the spouses program.
Oh.
And that makes it really different here is people can come to Scottsdale, Arizona, and they can leave their cold weather environment, bring their spouse. Tara's husband's a Marine, retired Marine, but he loves coming out here. He loves playing golf. He loves hanging out with his wife. He loves going to the business dinners with them. And you guys are very accommodating to the spouses. And I think that's one of the things that's really different. I mean, most people we're so busy in the world. We're so, getting 2 days, 3 days, and your spouse goes away for a boondoggle conference is one thing, but when you get to bring them with you and they get to see how hard we work, all the things that we're doing. And I think the vendors here do a really good job of taking care of everybody, and including the spouses. And I think you guys have done a good job at the spouse program. I don't know who runs the spouse program for you, but they've done a really good job for it. And Tara shouted it out.
Well, it was interesting this morning in one of the sessions from the stage, we were talking about building better relationships with payers. And the kind of one of the takeaway comments was it takes time to develop the kind of intimacy and trust that is required there, but it's not transactional. And Home Care 100 is the same way. No matter who you're trying to partner with, whether it's another provider, a peer organization, a partner in the space, we really want to set the table for developing partnerships. And that does include getting to know each other on a personal level and having spouses at the table for the engagements like dinner or the smaller group networking activities that we embark on at the beginning
Sure.
and the end of the conference is really amazing. I just on my way in here ran into Les Levinson. I had sent flowers and a note to his room. His wife Joan has been here for 20 years herself.
Wow, I know.
20 years with the spouse program it's pretty amazing.
He's been to almost everyone I have. It's amazing. Talk about your staff that are here. I know you're really proud of them. You have some amazing people. One lady sitting in the room here. You can't see her on camera, but she's one of the greatest. And
Absolutely.
I was teasing this morning. I'm like, Jennifer would be on my team if I could find a spot for her, and I knew if I didn't know how bad it would be if I hired her from Home Care 100, I
It's
would
a
get
hard no for me.
boycotted. Yeah, it should be a hard no, but it would be so bad for me because I use her all the time. Like I know we love her, but so tell us about your staff.
Well, there's, certainly the team that is responsible for execution of the event itself and organizing our event planning. We've got a great team that is responsible for our marketing messaging and helping to convey the main points about what makes us so special and different to be part of Home Care 100. But really, it is a very relational business for us. And so, Jen, that you've referenced is a perfect example of someone whose full-time job is to wake up every day and think about how can we better get to know and understand the priorities and the initiatives of the 100 leading companies in this space. And we have folks that are dedicated to that on the provider side. We have folks that are dedicated to that on the partner side. And then we sit and bring that together. In addition, we've really put a lot of effort into on that visionary intelligence, hiring the right people who not only can create a point of view by looking across the insights and what we hear from providers and partners all year, but come to the table with a point of view on this is where the industry is heading. These are the capabilities we need to build. These are the hurdles we need to overcome. And here's how to do it. Maybe not prescribing a playbook or writing on a blueprint, but saying, based on what I know about you, based on what I know about where this industry is going, these are the types of things that you need to be focused on. And that comes forward both on the stages at Home Care 100 and then also throughout the year in the work that we do with our intelligence group as well. So we've really made some intentional hires over the course of the last few years to build out that additional capability to say, we've always brought a point of view to Home Care 100 and a lot of external speakers, but we've got a really strong bench strength now on the inside of the organization to be able to take those insights and figure out how to turn them back around for even better and greater benefit to the Home Care 100 community.
Wow, that's really cool. And I've noticed, all the different players in this industry are all coming in, and the speakers we're getting are pretty great. You guys have really this year have done an amazing job because we had so much air traffic problems. We had so many storms and all that. You've been able to flex and change and get other people to speak and those kind of things. So kudos to you. But I mean, the content is really good here.
Did Tom just compliment the quality of the speakers when he was a speaker?
Yeah, I was a speaker. Yeah. I had to cover for a guy that was here. But no, I mean, Jen and I were talking, and I've talked to a few of the other people, Betsy, and I mean, I know that it has to be really hard when everybody's planning on being here. Everybody's prepared for their presentation on that, and you can't get here.
Well,
Like
yeah.
some people just couldn't get here. They couldn't get a train, planes, or automobiles. You couldn't have gotten here.
Well, and we really do spend the entire year thinking about what is that perspective and point of view we want to bring to the
Sure.
table. We talk to dozens and dozens of people prior to putting together a session so that we can affirm what our hypothesis is and then really, select the best perspectives and point of view that we think will reinforce the point and the takeaway that we're trying to make. So it absolutely is devastating for us when we lose one of those perspectives and point of view. On the flip side, we're so well prepared with the talking points that we really want to make sure that the folks that join us in the room can hear that, we are able to sort of swap in at the last minute and say, hey, someone with your expertise, Tom, can you pop in and bring your own perspective, but certainly reinforce, the topics that we want and the perspective that we really wanted to bring forward to the group.
That's awesome.
So thank you for doing that.
If I'm not getting an invitation to Home Care 100 and I want to come, how do I do that? If I'm a provider.
First and foremost, on our website at homecare100.com, you have an opportunity to request an invitation to come to Home Care 100.
I love that, by the way. You have to request an invitation.
Well, it is very real. So as I referenced, it's really about the 100 largest, fastest growing, or most innovative organizations in the space. We set very specific criteria around the amount of revenue or census that you're bringing to the table. If you don't quite hit those minimum qualifications, we really do encourage people to submit a request to be invited. And Jen and I look at every single one of those. We we take calls with everyone who applies to attend to try to understand, what value they would add to the group. We have absolutely hit capacity in terms of the types of venues and settings and the intimacy of the conversations we want to have. Thus, turning our June conference into a second Home Care 100 gives us a little bit more space and leeway to be able to let in that kind of next set of emerging leaders in the space in terms of company size or innovation. But we're also seeing a lot of companies where it's making more sense for them to bring a bigger swath of their team, right? So in the past, you kind of just wanted your CEO and maybe a CFO and COO at the table with you, sometimes a clinical or business development leader. But really, there's robust programming and peer networking for the entire C-suite of the organization. And so the bigger companies kind of need to have a president of home health, a president of personal care services, a clinical leader, an operational leader, a technology leader. And so it's been really interesting just to see the evolution of how the composition of the folks that are in the room has changed in that way. But we absolutely encourage everybody to submit an application, and we love to hear from folks that think, they belong to having a seat at this table.
Yeah, so one of my aha moments when I walked in this morning yesterday was a golf tournament and then dinner last night and a celebration. And then this morning was the first content. I remember the first Home Care 100 we went to, there was one guy in the back of the room with essentially the AV guy. There was one. And today the whole side wall and most of the back wall was all these AV guys. And I stood over there and I watched them, and they got 12 TVs going. They got projection screens. I know that stuff is complex and really expensive and all that. I was like, holy cow, this is a real production. I mean, this is a real deal. They're recording cameras. They got backup footage. They got slides going. Sounds great. Quality's great. I mean, it's a real production now.
Well, as it relates to being an innovative organization, Home Care 100, Lincoln Healthcare Leadership, and our other conferences, like, we want to be the most innovative conference organization as well. So if we have opportunity to layer on, the best in class technology, the best in class AV equipment, the best in class in helping people convene, that gets us really excited as well. So we've enjoyed the last couple of years being able to apply the ChatGPT like interface over what we call our cocktail book. So there's profiles of every person who's attending. What do they want to learn? What do they want to share? Fun fact, like where they went to summer camp or where they excel in trivia. And it really helps people to get to know each other. But as we've grown, it's like, it's a 400-page book. Like, I'm paid to read the book and it's too much to read. So being able to leverage, tools like AI on something that's simple for helping make more meaningful conference, purposeful connections, that's definitely the positioning that we want to have in terms of the space we occupy and bringing people together. This should be the most innovative and tech-forward conference and experience that you have in the annual season as well.
On that cocktail book, please don't ever get rid of that. I got the electronic version this year, and I was like so mad. Like, please tell me we're getting a paper copy. And then I saw the email, and it said, you're getting a paper copy if you want one too. But I have every one of those books for 20 years in my office. You take up a whole shelf.
Well, and I
it's
find
awesome. It is the greatest book that y'all ever created.
I'm going back to my room at the end of the evening, putting in the Post-it notes of who I sat with at lunch, who I want to follow up with, what, exciting conversations I had. And, hopefully it's a memorable of enough experience, 5, 10, 20 years from now, you can still look back and say, oh, I do remember that one time I sat and did that one thing or had that conversation there. But yes, we really do pride ourselves on the cocktail book, hard copy for those who want it. But as I said, as it's advanced, it's a behemoth in and of itself, just to really understand and analyze the insights, the trends, why people are here, who should I connect with, bring on the AI technology
I love
to be
it
able
too.
to chat with that.
I put notes in that book every year, like what I learned about them, things about their families, those kind of things, so I can remember it year over year. And I always go back to last year's and read it before I get this year. So
Yeah.
it's amazing. Yeah,
It's good plain reading.
It is
for
great.
The
Well,
arrival.
congratulations on an amazing show. Another great year. Where are we going next year
Next year, we will be back in Orlando, Florida,
for the winter conference?
for the winter conference. So we'll see you there then. And then, yes, we will be back to Scottsdale the following year. So we
Are you
kind of do
serious?
every other now, I think, with winter makes the most sense. So we're kind of going between Arizona / West Coast and Florida, kind of easterly coast. And then the summer conference in June, This will be our third year at the Monarch Bay Resort near the Laguna Beach, Dana Point area in California. That's 2026. And then in 2027, there we're actually going to go to Salt Lake City. So we're super excited about
Really?
taking that conference on the road to be able to do some unique and fun, especially the enrichment activities in that area as well.
Salt Lake
So
City,
we've
wow.
got a great lineup coming.
Yes.
And
Thank you for
so
coming back to Scottsdale, too.
well, it was really funny. Somebody said to me, 2 days ago about the planning and the logistics and all the last minute things we must be doing, and I said, "Oh no, a month ago I started planning next year's event." Like we're so thrilled to hear everyone's feedback and evaluation of each of those areas. Was the stage content hitting the mark? Did the people that you meet, was it the right people in the room? Did you have an amazing experience? And then iterate on that for the next one, which, again, June in California, next January in Florida. And, we just can't wait to keep growing with this group and realizing that the future that we are all discussing when we're here.
It's awesome. Thank you for spending time with us.
Well, thank you for being here and
It's
all of your
amazing.
support as well.
It's amazing.
Thanks.